let's be brutally honest. Most men, good men, are losing the game, not because they lack potential, but because they lack an understanding of the true battlefield. You've been taught to be polite, to be agreeable, to be nice, and for what? To be walked over, to have your boundaries tested, your time wasted, your very masculinity eroded, all under the guise of harmless interactions. This isn't about being a brute, it's about recognizing the subtle psychological warfare waged in relationships every single day. If you've ever felt disrespected, if you've been manipulated into giving more than you get, if you've wondered why your good intentions lead to you being dismissed or even used, then listen closely. Machiavelli himself would scoff at the level of emotional control men surrender in the name of civility. This isn't about being mean, it's about being strategically effective. It's about developing a masculine strategy that ensures you're playing to win, not just to participate. I'm going to reveal 5 specific scenarios where your default courtesy is a liability, where your politeness is a weakness, and where a high-value man absolutely refuses to be anything but firm. This is your playbook to regain power, command respect, and finally master the mental game of relationships. Stick around, because ignoring these truths will keep you trapped in a cycle of frustration and regret. Okay, so let's jump into the first battleground. Scenario number 1. The harmless jab. Someone makes a comment, a joke about your appearance, your choices, your intelligence, something that hits just a little too close, disguised as playful banter. Your gut tells you it's wrong, but societal conditioning screams don't be sensitive. This isn't harmless. This is a classic power test. It's not about the joke itself. It's a direct challenge to your boundaries, a reconnaissance mission into your emotional landscape. They're probing. They want to see how much they can get away with, how much manipulation you'll tolerate. Your reaction, or lack thereof, immediately dictates the future of that dynamic. If you laugh it off, if you get visibly uncomfortable but say nothing, you've just given them explicit permission to escalate. You've shown a critical vulnerability, a chink in your armor. This isn't just a social misstep. It's a strategic blunder in the mental game of relationships, a concession in a war you didn't even know you were fighting. A high-value man understands this isn't about being thin-skinned or having a fragile ego. It's about owning your space, asserting your self-worth, and demanding respect. He knows that true power comes from impeccable emotional control. He doesn't need to explode. He doesn't need to engage in a petty back and forth because that's what a low-value individual does. They try to drag you into their emotional chaos. Instead, he understands the subtle art of calibrating his response, making it disproportionate to the joke but perfectly proportionate to the underlying challenge. Sometimes, the most potent masculine strategy is a cold, unwavering silence. Let the air hang thick with their transgression. Let them feel the uncomfortable, suffocating weight of their disrespect. This silence, devoid of anger or panic, communicates far more than 100 angry words. It demonstrates a level of composure and self-possession that disarms and disorients them, revealing their probe for what it is. Alternatively, if the situation demands a verbal counter, it must be surgical, direct, and utterly devoid of emotion. A single, cutting, direct question, delivered with a flat, unwavering gaze. Was that supposed to be funny? Or a simple, decisive, a statement that wasn't appropriate? No smile, no nervous fidgeting, no justification, just a direct challenge to their intent and their behavior. This isn't about winning an argument. It's about drawing a line in the sand, a clear boundary that screams, "You do not cross me. This territory is mine." This earns genuine respect, not fear, but a fundamental understanding that your boundaries are non-negotiable. Machiavelli himself understood the critical importance of appearing formidable, of projecting an aura of strength that discourages challengers from even attempting a probe. When you allow these subtle acts of manipulation to pass, you teach people a dangerous lesson: they don't need to respect your limits. You give away your power piece by piece, inviting further encroachment. You signal that you're an easy target, susceptible to emotional games and control. A doormat in the grand scheme of human interaction. This seemingly minor infraction, if left unaddressed, corrodes your standing, erodes your sense of self, and ultimately sabotages your overall masculine strategy. Remember, these aren't isolated incidents. They are calculated probes designed to test your mettle. Your response to the harmless jab is the first domino. Fail here, and the cascade of disrespect begins. And this is just the first layer. Because what happens when the line isn't just crossed verbally, but with your most valuable asset, your time and energy? When someone offers an apology that feels too smooth, too quick to resolve, too eager to brush things under the rug, that's often a tactical maneuver. It's not genuine remorse. It's a re-engagement strategy. They've breached your defenses, crossed a boundary, or actively disrespected you. Now, instead of facing the consequences, they deploy the "I'm sorry" as a disarming agent, a verbal white flag meant to bypass your scrutiny and reset the game board to their advantage. This is a classic form of manipulation, an attempt to regain access to your time, your energy, and your emotional bandwidth without having to genuinely earn back your trust or address the root of their transgression. Your critical error: as a man cultivating true power would be to grant immediate absolution, to offer immediate emotional relief by saying, "It's okay," or "Don't worry about it." This is precisely what they want. It's a low-effort play. They inflict damage, offer a superficial apology, and then expect you to not only absorb the hit but also release them from any discomfort or accountability. This doesn't earn you respect. It teaches them that your boundaries are conditional, your forgiveness cheap, and your emotional control is salely bypassed. Machiavelli would advise you to analyze the intent behind the gesture, not just the gesture itself. Is it true regret, or is it a power play to re-establish control over the dynamic? A high-value man recognizes this subtle form of psychological warfare. He understands that withholding immediate comfort, allowing them to sit in the discomfort of their actions for a while, is a vital part of the mental game. It communicates that consequences are real, that your masculine strategy involves strict adherence to your principles, and that your respect is not easily won back. When someone tries to shortcut the reconciliation process with a hollow apology, they are testing the strength of your will. They want to see if they can manipulate you into restoring the status quo, restoring their access, restoring your emotional investment without significant effort on their part. Do not fall for it. Your silence, your lack of immediate emotional reassurance, your refusal to immediately grant them peace of mind, becomes your most potent weapon. It forces them to confront the gravity of their actions, rather than skating by on a mere word. This isn't about being punitive or vindictive. It's about establishing a robust framework for interaction, where actions have weight and apologies require substance. It's about protecting your power. It's about ensuring your emotional control dictates the terms, not their manipulative gambits. This is foundational to building genuine respect, and this discipline extends far beyond just words. What happens when the violation isn't just about a quick fix, but a deeper invasion of your personal space and mental peace? This is where the victimhood narrative truly takes root. They weaponize their perceived fragility, their unending woes, transforming themselves into emotional black holes that demand constant feeding. Every conversation becomes a confessional, every interaction a plea for sympathy, every silence an accusation of your indifference. This isn't about genuine distress. It's a meticulously crafted performance, a form of manipulation designed to extract your energy, your time, and ultimately your emotional control. A high-value man understands that this endless narrative of suffering is a sophisticated form of attack, a psychological warfare tactic aimed directly at your boundaries. They seek to possess your emotional landscape, to make their internal chaos your responsibility. They are not asking for help. They are demanding a hostage. Your empathy, your natural inclination to support, is weaponized against you. This is where the Machiavellian truth about human interaction becomes glaringly apparent. Some will exploit any perceived vulnerability, even their own, to gain leverage. To counter this, your masculine strategy must be one of unwavering emotional control. You cannot be drawn into their vortex. You cannot become their emotional dumping ground, their perpetual therapist, or their savior. The moment you consistently offer that solace without demanding reciprocal effort or a genuine attempt at self-reliance, you are reinforcing their victimhood and surrendering your power. They thrive on the attention, on the validation that their helplessness is profound enough to warrant your endless investment. They are testing how much they can take before you break, before you collapse under the weight of their self-misery. This is the ultimate mental game. Your objective isn't to fix them, it's to protect your own emotional sovereignty. This means setting hard lines. It means refusing to engage in the endless loop of grievance and commiseration. It means recognizing that their suffering is often a strategic lever to maintain access and keep you emotionally obligated. They don't want solutions. They want an audience, an eternal witness to their self-pity. To give them that is to allow them to drain your life force. True respect is earned when you demonstrate that your peace, your energy, and your attention are not commodities to be taken without earned merit. When they realize their victim narrative no longer grants them free passage into your mental space, when their attempts at manipulation are met with a calm, impenetrable barrier of self-possession, they are forced to confront the futility of their tactics. This doesn't make you heartless. It makes you strategically sound. It forces them to either evolve or to seek their next emotional victim elsewhere. Your strength lies in your refusal to participate in their emotional theater. But what happens when these boundary tests escalate from passive-aggressive pleas to overt challenges to your authority? These aren't just appeals for sympathy anymore. They are direct assaults on your energetic resources, thinly veiled attempts to derail your focus and commandeer your agenda. This is where the game shifts from emotional chess to psychological warfare. When someone deliberately wastes your time by showing up late, by constantly interrupting, by bringing irrelevant drama into your productive space, or by demanding your immediate attention for their non-emergencies, they are not merely being inconsiderate. They are actively asserting dominance, testing the strength of your will and the integrity of your boundaries. They are attempting to establish a dynamic where their whims dictate your schedule, where their perceived needs override your priorities. This is a fundamental test of your leadership. not just over others, but over yourself. Your ability to maintain emotional control in the face of such provocations is paramount. Reacting with frustration or anger is precisely what they want. It signals that their manipulation tactics are effective, that they have successfully breached your inner defenses. A high-value man understands that his time is his most precious, non-renewable asset. To allow it to be squandered by others is to surrender a piece of his life, and an act of self-betrayal. This isn't about being rigid. It's about being strategically precise with your life force. Machiavelli, though, speaking of statesmanship, understood the critical nature of maintaining control and projecting an image of unwavering resolve. In your personal and professional arenas, this translates to demonstrating that your time is a fortress, not a public park. The masculine strategy here is to meet these overt challenges with an unshakable calmness, a quiet refusal to engage in the theatrics. When they demand your time, you offer limits. When they interrupt, you redirect. When they attempt to pull you into their vortex of manufactured urgency, you stand firm in your own purpose. This isn't rudeness, it's a profound act of self that commands respect from others. Consider the underlying motive for this particular type of manipulation. Those who intentionally squander your time are often seeking to diminish your power. They want to see if they can disrupt your flow, whether they can impose their will upon yours. They are probing for weaknesses in your personal infrastructure. Your response, therefore, must be a clear, unambiguous signal that such incursions are intolerable. It's a silent declaration. My time is non-negotiable. This mental game requires you to be relentlessly disciplined in your interactions. You're not just managing a schedule, you're defending your sovereignty. The goal is to make it abundantly clear, without fanfare or apology, that your resources are finite and reserved for those who truly value them, and that their attempts at manipulation will yield no fruitful results. This disciplined approach doesn't just protect your time, it elevates your standing. It forces others to approach you with greater intention and consideration, because they learn that you are not easily swayed or sidetracked. This is how you cultivate genuine respect. But mastering this defense is only one part of the equation. What happens when the challenge isn't about time, but about your very perception of reality? The next battleground is far more insidious. The direct assault on your inner composure, your very sense of self-worth. This is where the enemy deploys weaponized silence, the chillingly condescending tone, or the imposing, almost suffocating presence. Understand this. These are not accidental behaviors. This is a deliberate psychological warfare, a sophisticated form of manipulation designed to make you feel inferior, to make you doubt your rightful place in the room, in the conversation, in life itself. Consider the calculated silence. When you speak, and they respond with a prolonged, deliberate void, or a slow or measured gaze that seems to judge your very existence. This isn't thoughtfulness, it's a power play. It's a nonverbal assertion of dominance, an attempt to make you fill the vacuum, to over-explain, to squirm. They are trying to extract a confession of insecurity without uttering a single word. Similarly, the condescending tone isn't just about the words chosen, but the very timbre, the intonation, the implicit message that you are beneath their notice, or that your contributions are trivial. It's a sonic sneer, designed to deflate your confidence and erode your respect for yourself. And then there's the imposing presence, the way someone can occupy space, their stillness, their gaze, making you feel smaller, less significant, as if you are intruding on their domain. This is a profound mental game. The practitioner of such tactics, consciously or not, is operating from a textbook of social dominance, perhaps even unknowingly echoing principles one might extract from Machiavelli: how to gain and maintain power through subtle, often nonverbal means. Their objective is clear: to establish an unspoken hierarchy where you are relegated to a subordinate position. Your response, therefore, must be rooted in unshakable emotional control. You cannot react defensively. You cannot become agitated or apologetic. This is precisely what they want. Instead, when confronted with weaponized silence, you hold your ground. You embrace the stillness. You meet their gaze, calm and unwavering, mirroring their non-reaction without becoming passive. You don't rush to fill the void. Your internal monologue should be one of complete self-assurance. When faced with a condescending tone, your voice must remain steady, your posture firm, your words precise and direct, refusing to acknowledge the implicit insult. You are not obligated to accept their framing of reality, and against an imposing presence you expand your own. Not aggressively, but with a quiet, confident command of your own space. This is a critical masculine strategy, the refusal to be intimidated, the assertion of your inherent value without needing to shout or prove anything. This is how a high-value man navigates these encounters, turning what was intended as an attack into an opportunity to solidify his own status and earn genuine respect. It's not about fighting fire with fire, but about demonstrating that your internal flame is unquenchable, immune to their subtle manipulation. This demonstration of impenetrable presence and unwavering self-respect isn't just a defensive maneuver. It's an active display of power. It communicates that you understand the game being played and refuse to participate on their terms. But what happens when the challenge isn't about your personal space or composure? but about the very narratives that define your opportunities. So, considering this deep dive into manipulation and emotional control, have you ever found yourself caught in a subtle mental game, perhaps without even realizing it? Tell me your story in the comments below. If understanding true power and mastering these masculine strategies is your ambition, if you aspire to be a high-value man who commands genuine respect rather than just demanding it, then subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. This is where you unlock the insights most men never discover. For more on applying the principles of Machiavelli in your life, click the video now. Until next time, stay sharp.